Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's midday weather outlook for the southern region brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. I want to start you off with a really amazing satellite animation centered right here where the Ohio River and the Mississippi River come together. And the animation is showing you the storms that fired up yesterday in parts of Missouri, Arkansas, stretching over to parts of Kentucky and even into Tennessee. And as these storms blew up, I'm going to pause it to show you a couple of the really cool things that I saw. First of all, you'll notice as we move through this, all of the separate waves that are moving through the flow. So in this thin cirrus band over the top, you can see waves that are oriented like this. You can then see in the surface wind field these cloud streets, which also show up in waves. As we move forward in the forecast, just before the storms began to pop, look at all of the mid-level waves we even have. I mean, it's just, the atmosphere's full of waves. And that's why you often hear me talking about those waves, because it's actually one of the pieces of the fractal behavior of the atmosphere. What do I mean by that is that the atmosphere tends to flow like a fluid, and in fluids we have waves. In fact, all of the equations that we use to describe atmospheric motion are the fundamental first principle equations for fluid dynamics. And so, sorry for getting a little nerdy on you here, but this is a really quite stunning satellite animation. Now, what came out of this was a pretty rough day for a lot of folks here in terms of severe weather. And just to show you the total number of severe weather reports, we're up to about 63 so far, and as of early this morning, I had not seen a report of a tornado. So those primarily came from wind and from hail, and you can see the orientation of those. Storm Prediction Center did an excellent job at identifying that. Now, just to see what the last 24 hours or so look like in terms of radar across the whole country, when we stitch them all together, this is just kind of an animation here showing you on repeat. And what I want to do is I kind of just want to pause this toward the end, and I want to talk with you about the setup and our pattern we're going to be seeing over the next several days. You see, we have had a low-pressure system that's come across the north central plains, building here in the northeast, and it leaves a frontal boundary that's kind of tucked right in through here. And that frontal boundary is getting wrapped up in another cutoff low that's down here that's going to emerge in the central plains and do a very similar trajectory. Well, there's more. There's another one coming down here out of the northwest, and there's another lined up in the Pacific. And my point is we keep seeing this same pattern emerge and last for a while. But I also want to show you this. You get a snapshot here of what things look like early this morning. So this is about 6 o'clock this morning. And I want to show you how well our forecast models have been predicting this. So just going back to what I released to you on Monday, this is from the 0Z Monday run, predicting what was going to be happening this morning. And you can see how well the model has been doing. I mean, it had the next system lined up here, had the cutoff low that came out of California, the system in the northeast, and the lingering frontal boundaries. So our models have actually been doing a fairly good job, especially about that 7, 8, 9 days, picking up on this pattern. So the question is the pattern going to change? Well, it is going to change for the western United States. We're adding precipitation here, but for our southern region, just look at this. You can see if I draw a line right in through here, over the last 60 days, we've been drier to the coast, drier in Florida, with much higher precipitation anomalies stretched right in through this area. And the upcoming forecast continues with that same thing, except for we're adding more precipitation here out west. So we're able to get this same result over the southern region with two entirely different weather patterns, simply because the subtropical branch of the jet stream is still cranked in this direction, aiding the flow coming from the northern branch. So again, we can kind of draw the line right here and say if you're south of that line, the probability of getting excess rainfall in the next 15 days is relatively low. We're going to keep things quite dry in the state of Florida. Meanwhile, our flooding problem right in through this section of the country, we're going to be adding an additional, so this is an anomaly. So over the next 2 weeks, compared to normal, 2 to 3.5 inches of excess rainfall coming through this area. Now, will this be changing our drought picture much for the southern region? The answer there is no. We're going to continue to see it staying drier than normal down here in southern Texas, and right along the coast, drier in through here, and then certainly dry through this section of Florida. What is important, though, is that we will likely see the drought that's in this part of Oklahoma going away. We're going to erode some of the drought that's here in the Four Corner states and help get rid of some of the drought that's in California with this pattern that's coming up. But overall, though, we've been dealing with an excess of precipitation rather than a deficit. Well, the animation you're watching next is kind of explaining why we're seeing such an active pattern. I want you to pay attention to those cooler colors, because if you notice, we tend to keep throwing troughs down across the western United States over the next 15 days. Let me take you back and show what I mean here. If we just come back to, I just stopped here at any random time because honestly, this pattern seems to be on wash, rinse, repeat. This is Tuesday, okay, or actually late Monday evening. You see our omega pattern. So here's trough number 1. So the flow goes around it like this. up over this big ridge into Alaska, which then pulls back into a trough over the western United States, then broadly runs over the rest of the country. So this has two implications. One, when we dig troughs into the western United States and they push out into the central United States and up the East Coast, that gives us those lingering frontal boundaries, which I showed you, and we get lots of rain on those, plenty of Gulf moisture. Two, this is a warmer pattern for our southern region, save maybe parts of western Texas and the Four Corner states as we look out longer term. And what I mean by that is as you stretch this out, we just get out here to, this is Monday the 23rd, getting all the way out to next, let's go to the 27th. So this is 2 weeks away from right now. And you can see we still have that broader trough feature in this place. The ridge is still sitting near Alaska over the Aleutian Islands. The subtropical jet runs right underneath it, which you can't really see here, but I'm just telling you that it is. And that's what's keeping us wet for so long. In terms of severe weather today, our attention is going to come back here into parts of central and western Texas, getting over into New Mexico as we watch for storms to emerge out ahead of the big cutoff low that's coming out of that area. So let's go straight to our European model to kind of see how this pattern evolves. The setup initially, high pressure pushing in like this, okay, cooling things off. The boundary sitting right here, the next cutoff low spinning through California. So as we play this forward, let's pause it and just bring you back here to show you how things evolve. This is Friday afternoon, getting into Friday evening, and now into Saturday morning. So the atmosphere is kind of reloading back here, and as you saw, thunderstorms early in this time period. So tonight, on Friday night, coming out of this area, widespread rain through Oklahoma, northern Texas, getting into Arkansas, Missouri, with snow on the backside of this. Now this is going to press forward Saturday afternoon and evening, getting now into Sunday morning. See it again? Boundary, stuck. Next low, forming. High pressure to the north. I mean, that is just the case that we've had so often. So here we are. This is now Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon and evening. So broadly scattered showers and thunderstorms in through this area. And here comes the next low through California. So this is now Monday morning, same place, getting more rainfall here. Monday afternoon and evening, just look, widely scattered showers and storms. Now let's get ourselves into Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon and evening. And here's our next system, the subtropical jet stream feeding out ahead of it, so adding more rain into this area. And if I just watch this, I'm just going to let this play from next Wednesday till the end of the forecast. Ready? We're just going to watch it together. See the cutoff low coming through, big low pressure system, and then another one's out here waiting in the wings for our third week of March. So this seems to be the pattern we're in. So let's get some numbers here. This is just through Monday morning, out of the system that's currently in place and is going to be moving through over the weekend. So we can see in north central Texas, getting into Oklahoma, Arkansas, and southern Missouri, we have the chances for picking up between 3/4 of an inch, in some locations upwards of 2.5 inches of rainfall. Sliding to the east, we see that that boundary that's lingering in that position is going to give us, again, pretty big numbers. If you just kind of isolate this area right in through here, we're talking anywhere between, again, 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall. Notice how dry things are down in Florida as the jet stream runs over to the north of it. Looking only now at week 2. So this takes you all the way out from the 20th of March to the 27th. Because we do not see this pattern really giving up, we continue to see this region showing up with the wetter bias, drier down in Florida. That just seems to be the setup with this pattern as we stretch it out as far as we can here to the end of March using the operational models. What about temperatures? Well, over the last month, we have had a warm bias. If any place has seen cooler shots of air, it's been this side of our southern region. But most of the southern region has carried a warmer bias to the tune of about 3 to 4 degrees. When we look at what this has done to our National Phenology Network's Spring Leaf Index anomaly, we can see the effect of that cooler air. That's about the only place that right now is saying, hey, spring's a little bit behind compared to normal, but much of the rest of our southern region, even though we've had a few brief shots at cooler air, they just haven't lasted too long. And as a result, we are seeing an early spring, kind of making the old groundhog look like a genius here, all right? From there, what are our temperatures doing? Well, you're going to see a pretty similar story to what I've been telling you. The contrast in temperature is going to seem to sit right there on whatever boundary is in place. North of it's cold, south of it is warm. So these are today, Friday, high temperature departure from normal. So you can see the cooler than average weather in the Panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, stretching over to Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, this region, but warmer than average up the East Coast, warmer than average down in south. As we play this forward, let's just get our way into Saturday. Same thing. See that pattern? I mean, right there, that's the boundary on which the precipitation is going to run before the next big cutoff low comes out. And this is now getting into Sunday, Monday's departure from normal. So it's going to be a chillier weekend for parts of the Carolinas and Georgia here, especially as we start Monday. But you're going to see things just warm right back up Tuesday into Wednesday of next week and Thursday. So we just don't see a time period of extended cooler weather, and especially if you're down pretty far south, all the way down almost to the coast, that's just going to be the name of the game. All right, longer term, all the way out to day 10. You see here from day 5 through 10, we're pushing that ridge up. We have our omega pattern fully established with the strong subtropical jet underneath it. We build a ridge here over the east that things run up over the top of, and therefore we stay relatively warm throughout much of our southern region, with the exception, like I said here, of New Mexico and Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas. At times, cooler shots of air coming in there. And all the way out to day 15, so this is day 10 through 15, get you all the way out to the evening of the 27th. We still see that same setup. This just doesn't seem to be able to shake it. So systems come in, hit California, but look at the warmth we will be seeing here in the eastern half of the United States, which includes almost all of our southern region. What I want to finish with, one last thing, got brand new updates. This is what I love about our Tuesday and Friday videos here for our regions, because we'll get the brand new weeklies for every one of those videos. And unfortunately, looking at March 27th through April 27th, we still see the same effect on this flow pattern. Can you almost identify where the drier swath is located? And then you can see the influence of the lows coming in like this and the strong subtropical branch of the jet stream still wanting to paint the region that has been the wettest in the country, by far wet, as we move our way into the month of April. But with that pattern, we see much of our southern region not going over to a colder pattern anytime soon. At least that's what the latest weeklies are showing. We'll spend the weekend diagnosing it, because we're certainly all going to be kind of homebodies, it feels like, for the week, given what we've seen in the news here with coronavirus. Hey, I hope you're all staying safe and that you're taking good care, and I look forward to giving you more updates next week. So have a good one. We'll talk to you then. Thank you.